What's up, guys, and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today we are going to be doing the Red Pyramid book review. Yeah, I got the book today because I just read it like a few days ago, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind, all the stuff that happened. And so let's get started with this book review. So this book has like 514 pages. It's a pretty big book. So a lot of stuff happens in here, very action-packed. We meet new characters, Carter and Sadie, and they're siblings, and they only see each other twice a year. I think, yeah, they only see each other twice a year, but they were separated because of a lawsuit. Yeah, lawsuit. We'll find out it wasn't really because of a lawsuit. It was because the magicians made sure that they were separated because they were too powerful if they were going to be together, because their family lines are two pharaohs merged together. I forgot the two pharaohs' names, but the family line is from their mom's side is a pharaoh line, from their dad's side a line of pharaohs too. So the whole concept of Egyptian mythology is very, very different from Greek and Roman mythology. Like, for example, the part they're like one with nature. So when they appear, they usually have like animal heads. Oh, the book though, which is really interesting to me. I really liked that whole explaining about all of that, because like the first part of the book, they're just explaining all of the new stuff, which makes sense because I was just so confused about the whole thing. And then they meet their uncle Amos, and they go to Manhattan, but they don't like stay in Manhattan. They go to somewhere. I forgot where they go to. But they go to Uncle Amos's mansion, well, Philip in Macedonia, and they find out that Sadie's cat is actually a goddess. It's a cat goddess, and she saves them a couple of times. So she's very helpful. Her name is Bast. She's really cool. I really like Bast. And I like all the characters, actually. I really like Sadie and Carter. And the POV in this is really interesting. I think it's my favorite. It's first person, but it's alternating first person. So like they have a Carter chapter, every 3 chapters it alternates, I think. And they're also godlings. And godlings are people who host gods. And you have to be like really powerful to be able to host a god without like going insane or dying or literally burning up. Because yeah, it's very dangerous to host a god. But they didn't know that they were hosts of gods. But the positives that comes with hosting a god means you're way more powerful. It enhances your power, but also that power can become very overwhelming, and it might become too tempting. You might want to give up your body to the god, which they had a whole bunch of times. Like the gods were, well, Isis and Horus kept on prompting them, like, let me have control, give me control over your body, but they said no, thankfully. Because if they said yes, I wouldn't trust those gods. Like, I wouldn't trust them. So it's a good thing they said no. And so at the end, when they separated themselves from Horus and Isis, I felt like that was a really good decision. Even though, like, it was really hard for them. Because, like, the power is just too tempting, you know? So it was really smart for them to choose to separate themselves from Isis and Horus. But the whole thing, I feel like Carter and Horus had like a better relationship than Sadie and Isis. So I really liked reading about Carter and Horus because they had an interesting dynamic. I love both characters so much. They're both really funny. Sadie is really sassy, I guess, and Carter's like the nerd, I guess. Carter's like the nerd brother, bigger brother. And Anubis, the only thing with Anubis and Sadie, ew, I don't ship it. Like, he's a god, and there's like a 5,000-year-old age gap. No, Sadie. But and then they talk about their friends a lot, and Sadie's friends a lot, Emma and Liz. But we meet them in the next book, though, not in this book. Not that important in this book. And Osiris, they actually find out their dad is hosting Osiris, which is like the king of the gods. Well, he was the king of the gods after Ra and Horus. Well, Horus and Osiris. Well, he's the king of the Duat. Yeah, he's king of the Duat. And everything was falling apart without Osiris, so their dad needed to die so they can go back and he can like take control of like the Egyptian underworld, I guess. I'm really not even sure if I'm saying it right. The Dwat. I think it's the Dwat. I'm just going to keep on saying it like that. But it was very interesting to read about the new characters, and the plot was pretty intriguing. And with Zia being a Shabtai, that was a mind blow. That was really mind blowing for me. I was just like, wait, what if the new Zia doesn't like Carter? That would be horrible. Oh my gosh, I'd feel so bad. And with Amos being the host of Set, that's just traumatizing stuff. Like, if you find out you're like hosting the God of Chaos and you try to kill your niece and nephew, that's pretty sad. But at the end, Amos went to go like help from Desjardins. Well, not only Desjardins, because like he's like the master, I guess. Iskandar dying was really sad. Like, I liked him. He was like the only nice magician. Even Zia sometimes was a little annoying, but he was like the only nice magician. I totally don't trust Desjardins. I really thought he was the host of Set because he was just really annoying and really mean, but he wasn't. But I started to have my doubts when they showed Carter's vision through his ball, where it shows him helping all the mortals. So I was like, Set wouldn't do that. He's like the God of Chaos. And the thing about I don't know who said this, but one of the characters said that they shouldn't separate. I think it was Amos. Said they shouldn't separate between good and evil. They rather do it between chaos and order, because like Ra, I don't really know if this is an example because I really don't know like anything about Egyptian mythology, but this was also really interesting to me. Like, the only god I knew was Ra. I didn't even know he was the king of the gods either. I just knew he was the god of the sun, but this definitely cleared everything up. So I was really worried about reading this book and these series and being very confused, but I wasn't confused at all because a lot of stuff is explained in this book, because like starter, like the half of the book is just basically explaining. And the Bast, the cat goddess, she's really cool. I like her. And Aphopis, I still don't understand that fully, but I think it's gonna get cleared up in the other two books because I'm still pretty confused about that. And then Set, when Sadie decided to make an alliance with Set, that was an interesting decision. Hopefully it works and it was not a mistake to trust Set, because I was like, okay. Like, I'm not totally against it. It could work, and she was right. They would need, Set is one of the most powerful gods, so they do need his help. They might need his help to defeat Aphopis. So, yeah. And the whole thing with Bast and her backstory was really interesting, and the way Ra kept on telling her to, like, I don't really know. But her backstory was really interesting, and all the characters' backstories were really interesting. Like how the rest of the other, how Carter was jealous of Sadie for having like a normal life, and then Sadie was jealous of Carter for like traveling the world with their dad and getting to know more about them. And at the end, when Anubis brought them to like the Dwat, I think. I don't really know where that was. They described it as like a living room, her home in Brooklyn, I think. No, it was the last house where they all lived together. And when Sadie met their mom, and Carter was like, I don't know, something about his dad, and the whole interaction was just super sweet. And Anubis and Sadie, I don't ship it at all. They have a 5,000-year-old age gap. I don't ship it. So Carter and Zia, I ship it. They're pretty cute. But when they find out she's a Shabtai, it's just like, it just breaks everything. But I really like this book. It's very interesting. The plot is very intriguing. The characters so far are amazing. Including Bast and Amos. I feel really bad for Amos, but I love this book. I'm super excited to continue reading and knowing more about Egyptian mythology, learning more about Egyptian mythology and all the stuff that's happening, and all the gods and goddesses and the magicians like Desjardins. Like, I wonder what his story is. He seems like an interesting character. He's not like evil, but he is evil. Well, not really, like, he changes towards the end because he knows that like Set is evil. well, he's not fully evil because they decided to like form an alliance with him. But overall, the Jordans is pretty interesting, so I'd like to learn more about the characters, and I hope a lot of development happens for the characters, because especially in their relationship, like Carter and Sadie, they have like an okay relationship. Like they don't see each other that much, so like they literally want to see each other twice a year, so they don't have the best relationship. So I hope there's a lot of relationship development relationship development between them. But I think that's all that I have to say about the Red Pyramid. If you guys haven't, make sure you go check out this book because it is amazing. And it's part of the series called The Kane Chronicles. I don't think I said that yet. It's part of the series called The Kane Chronicles. Right here it says Kane Chronicles. It's really pretty. But that's all. So I will see you guys in my next video. If you guys like, subscribe, turn on that post notifications button so you'll never miss a video when I upload. And again, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.